Welcome to video 4 of 8 in our series of videos entitled Fall Colors from LaFollette, Tennessee to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. These videos were recorded on the 2nd of November 2018. It's an overcast day as we come into Knoxville. On the right-hand side of the road up here is one of the most famous landmarks in Knoxville, modern landmarks, the Airplane gas station. They remodeled that not too long ago. I can remember coming into Knoxville with my mother and dad, and I was always anticipating seeing the airplane. Of course, I loved airplanes, and it was a thrill to come by that Airplane gas station. I don't know the exact year it was built. You can look it up on Google. I do know that it's one of the most famous landmarks, modern landmarks, in the city of Knoxville. We're on Clinton Highway coming into Knoxville on our way to Pigeon Forge. The original destination was Maggie Valley, North Carolina. But as you will see, especially when we get to video 8, you can see a spot of rain right there on the left-hand side by that truck, that white truck. We were picking up rain most of the way into Sevier County, but I thought it would clear up. I really wanted to go across the Smokies. And I had enough SD card time to make it from LaFollette to Maggie Valley, North Carolina. But to reiterate what I've already said on some of the other videos, I had a suction cup on the front window of my automobile that was holding the GoPro, but the way it was situated on the windshield, I couldn't use my windshield wipers. And when it was only sprinkling, I was in good shape. But when we got over into Pigeon Forge, it started raining real hard, and there was no way I could continue without windshield wipers. So we ended that video in Pigeon Forge. Took 8 videos to get there. This GoPro on this SD card creates a series of clips. As you progress along, it will create several clips. It numbers them all the same number. It doesn't give you a sequential number, but they're like 17 minutes and 20 seconds long. So you can tell about how long it took us to drive from LaFollette to the area in Pigeon Forge where we pulled off and ended these videos. The last video is shorter than the others, but we have 7 videos that are 17 minutes and 20 seconds long. There's another spot of rain. I decided to keep going until it started raining so hard that I couldn't see without my windshield wipers. As we come into Knoxville, you can still see the colors on either side of the road. The area that we're coming into now is considered the Powell community. I think that's where we're at. I've even lost track myself. No, I think we've already passed Powell. So we're in Knoxville now. And we're going to turn left just up the road on Merchants Drive. And that'll take us over to Central Avenue. Some of you all may not have been on Central Avenue. Going back to the Airplane gas station, when I came to Knoxville with my mother and dad, this was the main route into Knoxville. I don't know exactly when they constructed the interstate system. It kind of threw everything off, so there's a lot of the area that I can't totally get together in my mind. I do know when we got on Central Avenue, we went through a tunnel that went under the railroad tracks, and that's somewhere up here around. I tell you what, I just thought about where it's at, and when I get to that spot in the video, I'll show you how we used to go to Knoxville. They used to have a camera traffic control at this point, so if you ran a red light, they would capture you on camera. I don't know if they decided not to use it anymore, or if they took it out because of the construction work going on Merchants Drive. We turn left, and we're going to go over to Central Avenue. And when we get over to that portion of Central Avenue, that will be the old highway that we used to use when I was a young kid coming to Knoxville with my family. And Sears had a store on the left-hand side. I'll show you where that was at. It's been gone for many years. The building is still there. This light's a little long. The traffic was heavy today. But now when you come to Knoxville or any major city, just about any time of the day, you have a lot of traffic. And we ran into a lot of traffic today, especially out on Chapman Highway. And down through Henley, we went across the Henley Street Bridge. So we're turning left, and we're on our way over to get on Central Avenue. Now, we were on some smaller streets, and I'm not going to mention what they are because we were only on those streets for a short while. It's really not that important because if you're familiar with Knoxville, see, we're picking up more spots of rain on the lens. Most of you all have been in this area. Of course, I need to think about the people who have never been to Knoxville, who may come to Knoxville. So many roads, especially if you decide that you're going to take some of the back roads. Most of the people go the interstate, get on the major streets. The street that we're going to get on, Central Avenue, that was the main route to get into Knoxville if you were coming from LaFollette. And as I said, there's an underpass that goes under the railroad in Knoxville. I can remember coming up to that tunnel or underpass, and if a big truck or a bus was coming through from the other side, you had to wait till they came through before you could go through. So it's easy to see why that was bypassed. This is Interstate 75, 275, and just down there, a mile or so, it goes into Interstate 40. So we have 275, 75, and 40 in Knoxville. We won't be on any of the interstates today. I'll be taking streets and highways. But the main street that I wanted to mention to you is Central Avenue. And that'll take us down to Broadway, which goes into 441. And I had told you in one of the other earlier videos, 441 starts at Rocky Top, and you can stay on 441 and go all the way through Orlando. Because when I was stationed down there, I did that more than once. There's a Cracker Barrel off to the right. We come over here occasionally. Still picking up little spots of raindrops. There's a beautiful tree there. Traffic doesn't look bad at this point. To the left there used to be a place called Sugar Baker's, and my daughter-in-law, who is a master baker, used to get her supplies there. I asked my wife, I said, what happened to it? And she said they had moved somewhere. We continue toward Central Avenue. Around the curve up here, we will turn right and go across Interstate 75 or 275. 275 goes out by Easttown and connects with Interstate 40 going toward Asheville, North Carolina. You can see the interstate to the right. I hope I'm giving correct information. I'm going to assume that I'm getting all this correct. But if I'm not, it's not going to be that far off. Mainly, what you're interested in is looking at the scenery and the fall colors. They're beautiful. Some of the trees are green and haven't changed. And some of those that haven't changed a lot are not really evergreens. They will eventually change. They're just kind of slow. Now that's 275, which goes into 40, goes into 75. They all interconnect. And we're going to turn right and go across the interstate and just a short spurt of a road. That portion of that road I'll show you is probably the same that it's been from who knows, because there's nothing there. You can see the antennas on Sharps Ridge. Sharps Ridge is to the left of the interstate. City bus. From where this real pretty tree is to the left, you go through a forest and it's just nothing there. Evidently the land was not, you couldn't build, or I don't know what the problem is, or if it belongs to the city, but it's completely desolate through here. And we will come out on Central Avenue at the end of this. It's a very short spurt of road in Knoxville. And there's another spot of rain hitting the GoPro. It's longer through here than I thought. Now to the left you'll see we're back into can't say it. Civilization. We're back in where people are living. Oh, I'm having a rough time with this one. And now we're coming down on Central Avenue, where the road goes right. You can't see it. If you go right there, you'll go down and go through the underpass. And that's used to be the main route coming from Campbell County. If you were coming over to Knoxville, you'd get on Central Avenue, especially if you were going to Sears, because Sears is on the left-hand side of the road, and I'll show you where that's at. The rain that's getting on the GoPro, once it stops raining, it dissipates real fast. It evaporates off. But you can see what we're coming into, going into Sevierville. The closer we get to Sevierville, the more we encounter rain. I can remember seeing trolley cars, not here, because Knoxville had trolley cars back then. I don't know what railroad that is. But I can remember sitting off to the side at a garage somewhere right in this, see how wet, right here. There's a railroad that goes through there, but there was a trolley car that ran through that area, if I can remember correctly. Sorry about the vision, but I have nothing to do with the rain, and it was either edit this out or let it go, and I decided to let it go because this is exactly the way the trip happened, and it keeps it real. We go down to Broadway and turn right,